Right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor Sparber, and I am a STEM career coach here. And today I'm going to be discussing how to bounce back from being laid off. There, as we know, have been major shifts across the nation the past few years and changes with employment and just navigating a remote world, after that pandemic. So now that the nation, we've gone through an inflation, now we're starting to head towards that recession. Layoffs are occurring nationwide, especially with big name companies and employers like Netflix, Ford, Microsoft, and even Amazon have done some major layoffs. So it's it's happening to a lot of people nationwide. So today we're going to work through some different steps to take just to regain that balance after being laid off and take control of our career success. And I'm going to be taking some questions at the end, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we can talk about them at the end of today's presentation. So to start, today I'm going to be covering several different topics, starting with self-reflection. And these various topics will just touch base on areas to consider when coming out of a job that you've been laid off from and deciding on how to proceed. If you're interested in discussing some of this information further or laying out those job search strategies and taking these next steps, we would love to get you connected with a career coach, which I will talk more about that at the end of today's presentation. So let's start with self-reflection. Self-reflection, this might sound basic, but it really is a powerful and it's a free technique and tool to utilize. And research shows that taking time to reflect on our emotions, behavior, and motivation, it enhances our perspective to think through our actions, allowing us to feel empowered. So when you lose your job, it can feel like a setback and it can feel frustrating, but take that deep breath, step back, and allow yourself to acknowledge your feelings and emotions. It's healthy to grieve the loss of your job. You can feel angry, you can feel excited, especially if you really hated your job. So, reflecting on those feelings to process so that they don't hold you back from moving forward in your job search. And not just your job search, but your interview. Your emotions can affect you in all different areas in how you navigate bouncing back. So next, you're going to want to process those feelings. Let out how you feel in a journal or talk to someone that you trust that's outside of the company that you were let go from, because getting how you feel off your chest is essential to healing and moving forward in your career journey. And then employers want an optimistic employee. So after being laid off, most of us would probably feel very hurt or offended. Again, processing those feelings. So when you're moving forward, you don't want to carry those feelings with you. Try to be optimistic, especially in a struggling market. You're not the only one. If you are speaking negatively about a past employer or a coworker, even a boss, it can reflect poorly upon you and who you are. And you might not even be a negative person, but an employer really wants someone who's going to build, um, bring strength to their team. So demonstrating positive behavior will show that employer that you can manage conflict, your behavior, and your emotions. So be sure to process before going into an interview, and ultimately self-reflection will help you prepare for your future career, the strategy that you take to working towards that career, and it can allow you to move freely in your approach. Let's get to the next slide here. All right. So now that you've had some time to take a step back, self-reflect on your experience and work through your emotions, it's really time to reevaluate. So taking that time to process, let's start putting some things into action. So think of this time as an opportunity, not as a setback. Let's embrace this moment. Let's take new chances. Let's find what else is out there to move forward. Some areas to keep in mind when figuring out your next move in reevaluating is where you're currently at. So here's some food for thought. Were you pleased with the job or industry that you're in? Secondly, growth in the career field and the industry is vital to know in today's job market. Identify if the industry you are in or that you're interested in pursuing, is it growing and does it have a good future outlook? Wanting to pursue a career, especially if you're thinking about changing that career, it's vital to know Will there be enough opportunities? Is this something that's growing or is this field dying? And you can utilize a really fantastic resource. It's called Occupational Outlook Handbook. It's a government sourced site, and it can tell you if the industry is growing along with abundant of other information. And some additional questions to consider are, what are you interested in? Are your interests the same and have they changed? Have your ambitions changed? Determine if you want to continue in the industry or if you want a career change. So now is the time to really evaluate, what do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your career? How can I use this to move forward to make sure I'm going to be happy and satisfied moving forward? And now we're going to go into strategizing. So we've had that time to reflect, we've reevaluated. So now let's strategize. Strategizing your next move when bouncing back is going to be really important as you're searching for that long-term job. You want this next job that you take to meet that ultimate career goal you have. If you haven't already met it, maybe the job you were in, that is what you were working towards, but that's part of reevaluating. Is that enough for you, or now do you want more? So with reevaluating, I recommend writing down what you want in your next role. And this includes, what does the culture of the company look like? What values must they have? And this is stuff that you can take from your previous jobs. What didn't you like? What did you like? What more or less responsibility do you want? Do you want more out of the role that you're about to pursue? Or, this role that you were in, it was a lot to take on, it was a lot to handle. Maybe you want a little bit less. And that's going to be essential when you're job searching to know what those responsibilities are. Because if you're not looking for more responsibility, you're going to want to make sure you're filtering that out in your job search. So I encourage you, when processing this information and strategizing, to write a pro con list. What did you like about the employer or job that you are no longer with, and what didn't you like? What will be a deal breaker in this next opportunity that you pursue? So that way you're prepared when taking those steps once you hit that interview, to make sure you're asking quality questions and being prepared and going in so you're not blindsided in this next opportunity that you take on. And second, some other questions to consider are, what are my top values for myself and that I want my employer to have? Do I know of any companies in my area or through friends that have values that align with that company? Is there anyone in my network that would be able to help me with the job searching process, such as a mentor or recruiter? Is this something, before you got this job, that you were connected with some other people in the past that could get you to where you'd want to go, or have any additional insight? And something to keep in mind is that 80% of jobs are obtained through networking, and most of these jobs don't get posted on a job board or even that company's website. So getting connected on places like LinkedIn or professional association pages, clubs and organizations, even family and friends, can help, because they can help show others who you are and what your capabilities are, and always put that good word in for you, or just get you connected. Um, if there's a position that comes available, they will have you already in mind, as they know that you'd be a good fit for it. And then lastly, some other questions is to ask yourself, what types of roles interest me? Are you ready to be a manager? Are you ready to step down from being a manager? Do I like being a customer service representative? Do I want to deal with people every single day, all day, or do I want to sit behind a desk? What types of roles are going to interest you? What do you enjoy doing? Maybe now is the time to embrace that passion that you love. Maybe you love photography, but you've been stuck at a banking institution. How could I, pursue that photography dream that I love so much? What's relevant to that I could do? So is there something similar to that interest that you can combine the two, maybe doing banking photography? Um, Additional questions are, how do my skills factor into these roles? What does my ideal salary range look like to support my financial goals? So you might have these interests, but will those interests support you where you want to be financially? Is really important to ask yourself those types of questions to be prepared with when you start that job search. And these are also important questions to think about when creating a strategy to help narrow your job search and to have a focus versus blindly applying. Because, when you're laid off, there might be this frazzled feeling of, oh no, I'm without employment. that is maybe your only source of income. So you're applying to all those jobs out there. But when you take this time to use that as finding what's going to make you happy in this next career move, versus just throwing out applications and resumes and getting burnt out that way, because that can be really exhausting. So you really want that clear direction to help you reach your goals and take that time to strategize first. And then staying connected. There is nothing to be embarrassed about when getting laid off, especially during an economic crisis or even a pandemic. This is happening. This happens often and frequently, as we've seen in the past few years, and it is devastating. But let's talk about, how can we move forward from this, and who we can connect with to help us get to where we need to be. And the first thing I want to recommend is really utilizing your inner circle. Family and friends are your biggest advocators, and they're going to be there to support you. And they may know of an opportunity for you. And if they don't, maybe someone in their network will know of one or could get you connected with somebody who could potentially have one coming up or would keep you in mind for future roles. And then connect and reconnect with colleagues. As we know, it really is easy to get disconnected and lose touch with past coworkers, work acquaintances, and friends. So staying connected with them throughout your career can help build your confidence and assist you with a job search. And maybe they know they have other connections again that can get you connected. And they can just provide you with some insight on your next career move. Maybe they say, you really have a great talent for X, Y, and Z. I bet you could, look into this company. They might be able, with what we learned here at this company, it could translate really well here. So really utilizing your past acquaintances, supervisors, and bosses can be very helpful. Um, and maintaining and fostering these connections could just help provide you guidance or even land that interview. According to a LinkedIn, 70% of professionals hired in 2016, and it is a little bit of an older stat, but 70% of these professionals had a connection at their company, and 80% of those professionals considered networking vital to their career success. So they are a little bit older percentages, but we've only seen that networking and connecting with others have only boosted up getting those different types of jobs. And as you usually hear, it's not, about your skills and quality, it's about who you know. And that's not necessarily entirely true, but a good portion of it is where it comes to when it comes to networking and knowing people can help you get your foot in the door. Additionally, connecting with industry professionals in the areas you are seeking can allow you to conduct those informational interviews to give you insight and to learn more, to help you determine a set career path. So, if you are thinking about career changing, you're tired of the industry you've been in it for 15 years, you're ready for that change. Getting connected with people that you don't even know within the industry you're looking to pursue can help give you insight as into how did they get there? What do they like about the job? What would, is there anything else that they would consider doing that's similar, like, that alternative career path, just to get some more insight into what to expect when pursuing this career. And they might even know people who to get connected with to help you learn more. And I encourage you to branch out again to utilize social media, such as LinkedIn and professional associations, to make these connections. For some association examples, could be like the Association for Women in Computing, if you are into information technology or cybersecurity, things like that. Business Professionals of America, again, if business is something that you're interested in, and the International Society of Homeland Security Professionals. These are just only some examples of professional organizations across a few different industries, but looking for these associations, they do have job boards, they have a way to network, they even have ways for you to grow. Sometimes they allow you to do publishing work if you're into writing or blogging, and that helps demonstrate that you have industry specific knowledge, and that's information you can put on a resume. So it's more than just networking when it comes to associations. It allows you to provide other skills that you have into a site. So it is just very important to keep connected with your current network and to build that professional network and maintain those relationships with your current network, and make sure they're positive. Always try to leave, even if you were laid off from your position, leaving on a positive note, because those are the people that are going to give you those references moving forward. Most applications require at least 3 references, if not more. So always having, a reference is one thing, but you want them to be a positive reference, that they will give you a good word to help you land this next position and get that, make a new start. All right, so we're going to talk about our skill set. We've talked about ourselves a lot. Some different strategizing ways, but let's start putting this stuff into motion. Let's make this an action. Take this time. We're no longer working, so we want to take this time to solidify our skill set. It is vital to utilize the time that you do have in this job searching process during this unemployment to enhance your skills and to fill gaps on your resume. So when we have that gap, sometimes employers could say, what did you do during this time? Or, and you can always elaborate this in a cover letter as well, but being able to say that you took courses, you got certifications, or you were volunteering, like those are great ways to fill in those gaps and to say, this is what I did during this time. This is how I embrace unemployment. So that shows that you are flexible, willing to learn, and it just has a lot of overall value that it could give you to show that employer about who you really are as a person. Um, so let's talk about each one of these. You may consider updating or obtaining professional certifications, as these certifications are proof that you are qualified to be successful in a certain field. And they show that you have knowledge, experience, and skills to perform a specific job and the tasks that you've been trained to do within that field or within that specific area. So it just boosts who you are. And this is also a great way to help negotiate your salary too. You have these certifications that most of your colleagues would not have. So that's also beneficial when it comes to negotiating your salary by identifying, can I get a certification? If I can, which ones are most marketable for me, and which ones am I eligible for to help me be a competitive candidate moving forward? Another option is taking relevant courses. So taking these courses demonstrates your willingness to learn and to continue to learn. Having that current knowledge is going to be essential for future employers. Courses enable you to continue adding value to your job and to your employer. They can be beneficial if you're looking for a career change. So if you are done with that past industry and you're ready to make that switch, taking a few courses can help give you some knowledge under your belt and also add value as to why you should be hired. Um, or it could just even help you get up in that next role. So if you're thinking that you're ready to move up from where you were, it could help give you a leg up and an advantage to, having some courses under your belt. And then volunteering is another really great option, as it can help fill gaps in unemployment, strengthen your skills, and develop new skills, as well as build that network, as I've very much emphasized during today's presentation. So I encourage you to find places that need volunteers, for one, because that's going to be the most important. But these places that you're looking for, I encourage you to make sure that they're relevant to the career industry you want to pursue, especially if you're looking for that career change. And then the places, even if it's not relevant, I recommend making sure that you've identified the skills or experience that you would like to add more of to make you that competitive candidate, to highlight that you've been working on these skills. So you can say, this wasn't my background, but here's where I've been volunteering. Here's how it's, helped me build these relevant skills. And then that's something you can elaborate on, because though it's not paid, you're still taking that time and you're still actually getting that hands-on experience, which is just as important to an employer. So this is just the best way, one of the best ways to enhance what you don't have or what you do have. If you want to become more proficient in a certain area, try to find somewhere local or online, if you want to build those online skills, um, to take that time to volunteer. And then let's talk about the resume. So a resume is a great document that keeps track of where you've been throughout the years, your experience, your skills, where you've come from, where you're at now. So it is essential to always keep an updated resume, even when you're not job searching. So I know we're talking about job, bouncing back from being laid off, but this is just kind of a tip, moving forward when you get that next job that you're looking for, to always keep that resume updated and handy, especially because you never know. You might be approached by somebody who says, I'm really interested in hiring you. I would love to see your resume. So this would also be time for you, so you're not scattering to put together one, you have it ready to go. Might just need to tweak it here and there. But use this time to update your resume and embrace these your new opportunities. And resumes have really come a long way. So what we focus on here in career services is tailoring your resume, and this is what employers are looking for. So tailoring your resume to each job announcement. And when creating that resume, focusing on inserting your skills and experience that most closely relate to that job. So when you're out there looking for applications, you're going to want to make that resume match as close as possible to that job announcement. So that way, whenever an employer or recruiter is looking through your resume, they are seeing like, oh, um, they have CompTIA Plus certifications, or I can see that
Excuse
they
me.
have great team building skills just through this specific example of how they led a team of 50 um, through creating a big company marketing material of some sort. And that goes into whenever possible, including that measurable data into your resume, such as numbers, dollars, percentages, and even frequency, such as like how often. I answered phones daily to assist 50 plus customers in making appointments, things like that. Quantify those actions, give those specific examples to how you are qualified for those jobs on your resume. And also take this time to just revamp it. So I highly encourage just a plain Jane resume, no templates, highly discourage templates because of applicant tracking systems. And that alone is a whole nother presentation, and would love to talk about that within our, coaches, I'm sure would love to help you with that and a resume writing coaching appointment. But having just a plain resume, professional appearance, black font, white background, that's under 2 pages, where a recruiter can just scan through it within 5 to 10 seconds, because that is the average that a recruiter or employer takes when reviewing resumes, especially if it's at a bigger company, to identify that you are that competitive candidate. And on the resume, add in that experience within the past 10 years. I don't usually recommend anything past 10 years unless your resume does not show the relevant experience to the job that you're applying for, but maybe a job over 10 years ago will show that experience. So that, you just kind of have to figure out what will work best in that situation. And because you've been laid off, that is something you can always elaborate in the cover letter if that's what you would like to do, or expand upon it in the interview if it gets asked, or you don't have to talk about it at all. It's really about your preference and how you'd want to approach that. And a career coach, of course, if this is something you're interested in doing and discussing more about, we're happy to help you with that as well. All right, so attending a career fair. This is a really big topic that I'm excited to talk about, especially since we offer virtual career fairs that are free for students and alumni. It's an opportunity to explore career options available. So if you're interested in a career change or pursuing your same industry, we have a variety of organizations that come out, employers, and in general, if there's something local, job fairs, I encourage you to attend in person, online, to build those connections, as it will help you get noticed and build that network and keep your application considered by employers. So I want to talk about some benefits to attending career fairs. They provide you with an opportunity to engage with different organizations and their recruiters to learn more about different companies. What are their culture? What's their culture? What's their values? And what opportunities do they offer? And this kind of goes back to that self-reflection part of things. What do I want my company to value? Do those values match my values? Um, do the opportunities they offer, will they allow me to grow within the company if that's something you're looking to do? So really taking the time to learn more about the different companies in your area and even nationwide is a huge benefit to virtual career fairs. Just allows you to gain that insight to your newly considered career, or just even building that solid network. And I say that because if an opportunity does come along and you've made this really great connection with a recruiter, they may say, they may reach out to you and say, hey, we have this position open. I think it's a great fit for you. I encourage you to apply. I will reach out to the hiring manager to let them know to keep an eye out for your application. And that right there gets your foot in the door. Hopefully, that employer looks at your application, you get called in for that interview. So that's why I really encourage those I encourage career fairs because it's just a great way to get yourself noticed and putting yourself out there. And it can be intimidating sometimes if that's something that you might feel uncomfortable with. But we're here to help you and walk through that and build your confidence. And again, utilizing your support system, past coworkers, those other tools in your toolbox to help you get there. Career Services hosts, like I said earlier, we host different virtual career fairs throughout the year with various employers that we have personally vetted and that we like having our students to have the opportunities to work for. And these opportunities are nationwide that range from in person to remote, and they span through a wide variety of industries. I believe we offer just about every industry we can when it comes to the degrees that we offer here. Now, I can't guarantee that, we have medical opportunities nationwide, but there might be some on various coast to coast. So just check that out. We do have an online job board as well where you can learn more about, find some different opportunities. But the next career fair will be on August 2nd, 2023, if that is something that you're interested in attending and getting connected with different employers that we have here. Being open-minded kind of goes back to that self-reflection, moving forward in a positive way after being laid off, because I know it's difficult in reframing that mindset, but it's really really essential to be open-minded during this process. And it's because you want to take your approach with the people that you connect with in a positive manner, identify the industry you pursue and those job opportunities that you might not have thought about before. What type, I might have never connected with this person in this industry. I might not have considered taking this job offer opportunity because someone's reached out to me about it. Like, this is not something I've ever thought about, but it might be just that perfect fit. So being open-minded, just allowing yourself to find these opportunities you haven't considered. And additionally, it may help even reduce the stress of job searching. Instead of putting yourself in a small bubble, we've talked about narrowing down what you're interested in, but not so narrow that you're set on one job title. That job title is not the same, in every company. There might be different job titles or maybe a couple different types of responsibilities into that job title. So, really being open minded when it comes to the job search process and who you're connecting with it, kind of going outside of your comfort zone might happen because of, just being willing to network or look at different opportunities and just branching out and trying something new. And always remember, it's not about whether you've gotten knocked down, it's about whether you've gotten back. And I know this is a really common quote, and maybe not, I hope this is encouraging as if you are experiencing, the layoffs that's happening nationwide. But I chose this because I think it's really important that we reframe our mindset and embrace the new opportunities, that open mindedness, but embracing these new opportunities that are waiting for you. And Career Services, we're here to help you. We offer resume and cover letter reviews, mock interviews, guidance on your job search strategies, and we offer more services like our career fairs, job boards. So, and it's free for you and students, for our students and alumni. So, really utilize us. We love to help our students, um, at any point in their career journey and figuring out, how can we help you reach your career success and, helping you become those independent job searchers as well. All right. And to find out more about the services we offer, feel free to log into your eCampus. And here's where you could find more about our services, the online job board, and really how to connect with us or a career coach. And you can learn more about the upcoming virtual career fairs there as well. And we would love to connect with you and assist you on your career journey. So thank you all for taking the time to join in today for our career readiness presentation. And the best way to contact us is through the form on the eCampus. So that way we can get you connected in the right way. So if you're looking for a resume or cover letter review or a career coach, there's two separate forms for that. So that way we can best assist you and get you connected with the right, because we have industry specific career coaches. So getting you connected with the right person to start off with. But if you can't find those forms or you're having difficulties, we can be reached via email at careerservices@apus.edu or via phone if you just have a real quick question. We're happy to assist. And if you have any questions, I would love to hear about them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And there is a recording. So one can be sent out. I believe they go out to everybody that's been registered. But I can see who's attended today. So if you're interested in that recording, I can make sure that it gets sent to you as well. I know some people came in a little bit later on, and that's absolutely okay. So that way you can see the presentation from beginning to end. And if you want to refresh anything that we discussed, you can have that as well. And like I said at the very beginning of this presentation, these layoffs are happening nationwide, and it's with major employers, Amazon, Microsoft, Ford. Um, it's
Yeah, well, so I did have a couple of questions.
absolutely
I've been out of work since 2016.
okay.
Yeah, and so when you have that large of a gap, I have been doing volunteer service
Oh, that's great.
the
Okay.
whole time with more than one place, but and I do have a lengthy resume,
Mhm.
and so you've kind of filled in a couple of the gaps, like some of my relevant stuff might be way back, but
Mhm.
do I really want to expose my age that
you
Yes,
know.
because there are some
Mhm.
people who will just I did work for a time when I was a lot younger, and I'm a
Mhm.
lifelong learner, but
Which is various.
yeah,
It's great. It's
but
great to be one of those.
they had some internship volunteer work with a recruiter
Mhm.
in an area that I lived in when I was going to a community college, and one of the things I learned right away is that there are some recruiters that will pass people over as soon as they see that they're older, and that's
Which is
just the way
illegal.
it is. Yeah, it is illegal, but that they
Mhm.
do.
And
They say this
yes.
isn't for them. Ageism. I did a project on that last year
Oh,
for one of
wow.
the
So you're very
campus
familiar then.
thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, and besides the fact that I am older and I do see that it does occur, but
Mhm.
you when you're younger, you see it too because you get passed over because you're
Because you're young and you don't have
too
the
young and
experience.
yeah,
Mhm.
all that. But even as you're older and if you change careers, then you try to step into a new career field, and the experience is gained by volunteerism, I found, but they also
Yes.
want people who actually work right in that set.
Mhm.
So I don't know if there was a question in there. I probably had a couple that popped up as you were
It's
talking about
okay.
them, like
Well, I'm happy to explore them with you if you'd want to do some one-on-one career coaching if that's something you'd be
yeah,
interested in. Or
I
we could do some
absolutely
group
need
coaching
to.
with your team as well in environmental
Yeah,
science, which is kind of
yeah.
what we'll talk about in our presentation too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
But yeah, getting that resume ready
mhm.
for just the generic one, and you did help answer a question about that. Is that templates are going to kind of bl- put little roadblocks in there for
Yes.
recruiters that are trying to rush through because they do
Mhm.
skim through
Right.
quickly.
And applicant tracking systems, sometimes templates interfere with those, and I believe it's 60% of companies use them now. So what it is when you upload your resume to their site, it goes through the system, and sometimes the system can't filter out the information because of the
Right,
template interfering. So your information can get lost or distorted or just, cause you to get filtered out. So it's really
right.
important. That's why I just recommend just a plain Word document when I'm creating your resume, because it increases your chances of actually getting seen through an applicant tracking system if a company uses one. And if it doesn't, it just makes it easier to read through in general. As you said, that they do just skim right through your resume. So the simpler it can be, the better. Well, simple in appearance, but as much information, not as much information, but you want to make your information that's relevant stand out too.
What about those cold those cold calls where you just drop your
Mhm.
generic
Information.
resume.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about
So
those?
yeah, that's why and earlier I was talking about, trying to make sure you focus on what you want so that way you're not just mass applying either. You want to make sure that because that can lead to burnout. So you want to make sure that
Correct.
your applications are with jobs that you're interested in. That's when you're tailoring those resumes. So,
And I
well, we're
know
happy to get connected with you. Feel free to reach out to us. And just because we're coming up here at the end of our time, I want to make sure, does anybody else have any questions
I
before we get
do.
off of here?
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Hi,
go.
Taylor. This
Okay.
is Terry. Hi. Thank
Hi.
you for today. I appreciate it so much. And how do we go about scheduling an appointment with you?
So to schedule an appointment with us, you can go onto your eCampus if you are a student, and you should still have
Mhm.
access as well as an alumni because they're free services. Under student services, there's a career services section,
Okay.
and it should say career coaching or get connected with a career coach. And then you can fill out a form. In this form, make sure that you're FERPA verified and that you can provide the information that you want to talk about with a career coach. So that's the first one I always recommend. If you struggle with getting to the form or finding the form for any reason, you can always send us an email. Can you still see the thank you slide?
Yes.
Um, okay, that is the best email, careerservices@apus.edu. You can send us an email and we can get you connected with a career coach that way as well. Those are the two best ways to get connected. Or you can feel free to give us a call in and we can try to get you connected that way and a career coach can reach out to you
Okay. Thank you.
because we are industry focused as well. So, like I'm the STEM, I do science, technology, engineering, and math. We have an arts and humanities coach, um, one that does homeland security, intelligence, criminal justice, and then we have like our business coach as well. So, every industry has a different coach that you would get connected with.
Okay. Super.
Yes,
thank you so much.
absolutely. Was there somebody else that had a question? I thought I heard someone else, or was the
I did,
answer?
but I think you answered it because I was curious how we make an appointment. So if she had
Oh,
already asked it.
okay, perfect. Yes, we love working with students one-on-one or even group coaching as well. That's something else that we've started doing here recently, so we can get more people connected. And because networking is huge, so this is something we're trying to do as well is have some different types of interesting topics, like building a LinkedIn profile, writing a resume, federal resumes, private sector resumes, and just doing a group coaching session so we can all learn from each other and just to get that information out there and for you guys to connect so students can connect with each other. So we can give you that information as well in the future if you are interested as those events as they are coming out.
Thank you.
You're
And,
welcome.
and Taylor, all of this is available to alumni, right? Because I
Yes,
just
all
graduated
oh,
today.
congratulations. Oh,
So
that's so
thank
exciting.
you.
Yes, all of our services are free for students and alumni for life.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yes. So I like to say as long as we exist here in career services at APUS, you'll always have our services for free.
Okay. I'm thrilled. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, great. Well, again, thank you all for attending. I loved having everybody here join in, give feedback, ask their questions.
And how do we go about